To order the Board of Education meeting for the Pittsford Central School District. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May I have a motion for approval of the agenda, please? Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Renee. Any questions, concerns? None. All in favor? Motion carries. May I have a motion for approval of the minutes from the August 12th, 2025 Board of Education meeting? Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Kim. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor? Motion carries. Board of Education reports. Do we have anything to report out from Monroe County School Boards Association meetings? Yep. And this week, thank you. Okay, I'd like to welcome two new members to our board table tonight. We have Manar joining us from Sutherland High School, Masube from Mendon High School. There are the very first student board members for the Pittsford Central School District, so welcome. We're very happy and excited to have you here this year, and the board has a little something for you to kick off your service with the board.
They are not textbooks, I promise.
Welcome. And I understand that you're going to share out some reports with us tonight. That's great. Have you worked out between you who would like to go first?
Yeah, Menard's gonna go first.
Yeah, I'll go first because
Okay.
my slide's first, so I'll go.
Great.
At Sutherland, of course, students have been adjusting to the new personal device policy. I would say a huge adjustment would have to be in regards to Infinite Campus, as we got used to seeing grades kind of come in immediately once teachers put them in. So I can see that kind of being a problem as the year goes on and more assignments and quizzes and tests come in. One thing students miss in addition to phones would definitely be the personal headphones and Bluetooth, as lots of people listen to music while doing their homework in free periods and sometimes during class as well. Also, students are getting used to using district devices, and while people haven't used them in a while, the library has been really good with helping us get tech issues getting dealt with and getting people back on track. I can definitely speak from experience, as my laptop is currently being fixed right now. Despite the device policy, I will say that social media accounts for the student council for all the different classes are doing a really good job in kind of advertising our events and making sure that the class kind of knows what's going on in terms of spirit and also just different class-specific news. And I predict that clubs will also utilize Instagram and other social media to its full potential for meeting announcements. And Sutherland has also put up card stations in the main entrance for lunch where people can swipe in and swipe out or put in their number. And it was a little rocky in the first few days, but I think everyone's got a hang of it now. And in other news for the senior class, the painting parking spots were a huge hit, so our lot looks really good right now. But yeah.
It does look really cool.
At Mendon, we've also been adjusting pretty well to the new personal device policy. One of the biggest challenges for us was figuring out schedules and finding classes, especially on the first day, but most students were able to handle that pretty well with paper schedules. Some people wrote them down on their hands. I was one of those people. But, it went pretty smoothly overall. And I've also noticed a lot more people using the agendas at the school. In fact, this year, many of the agendas that were placed around the school were picked up by the end of the day, end of the first day, versus past years where they've been out for like a week or two. Also, because most students don't have their phones, I've seen a lot more people be more productive throughout the school day, during study halls, or in the few minutes between classes that they have. I've seen a lot more students socializing, especially during lunch. I've seen students playing card games, which is quite new. That wasn't really a thing last year. But there have been a few issues with school-issued devices at Mendon as well, but the tech support team has been great about helping us work through those issues and fix any problems. There's also been a slight shift as we're trying to get more off of Remind and use Teams and Outlook a lot more, because a lot of teachers do use Remind very regularly. And we're trying that out. You know, a lot of teachers are still using Remind. We're trying to see if that would still work. But I think more people are shifting towards Teams. Also, more students are using their lockers this year. And I even saw, this was something I think coming up from the middle school, but I saw some students decorating lockers for their friends' birthdays, and I thought that was so cute. I've never seen that at the high school before. I know it's a big thing in the middle school, but I haven't really seen that. Yeah. But speaking of the freshmen and what is coming into the high school, who's coming into the high school, they seem to be settling pretty well. To help with the transition, we are continuing with the Link Crew activities. Friday is one of our bigger activities, the scavenger hunt, and we hope a lot of people will be turning up and having a lot of fun after school on Friday. We are starting a new initiative this year during WIN periods, and we're going to have Link leaders go into freshman WIN periods to help freshmen feel more comfortable around the school and ask any questions that they might have. We haven't had our first WIN period yet, but that's our plan, and I'll let you know how that goes after we kind of get started with that. Another update is the construction at Mendon. So far, it hasn't caused major disruptions in day-to-day life. However, something I can see being maybe a problem in the future is that a lot of teachers will meet with students outside of WIN during the school day whenever students have study halls, and they usually do go into an empty classroom to meet. However, there aren't many empty classrooms available right now because of the construction, how classes have moved into whatever open classroom there's been. That could be a bit more of a challenge later in the year as it gets busier that we might have to address. Another thing is that the construction on Thornell Road has made it a little more difficult for students and teachers to get to school on time. I've heard that that has really delayed them getting to school. But on a positive note, regarding after-school activities and extracurriculars, some clubs have already started meeting. Most are still in the planning stages, but I think most people are waiting for the club fair to officially kick it off for the new year. And once that happens, we'll likely see more club meetings and after-school activities. And sports are already in full swing. Sports study hall in the Commons after school has been going pretty well. Students are using that time to finish assignments or socialize. I think later in the year, as class loads get heavier, they might be using that time more for homework and studying. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Those were both great updates. Very much appreciated, very informative. I'll open up the questions to the table of any of the board members or administrators if they have any follow-up questions for you.
Hi, I just have one. So being that you guys are so active within your schools, what are you noticing about how kids are feeling about no devices? Like, it's one thing, they're playing cards, they're chatting, that's great, but what are they saying? What are they thinking?
I think definitely for us seniors, we kind of got used to using our own personal laptops. I think in terms of what we're not allowed to have, I think phones is probably the last on the list because I think people are okay with not having it, especially during classes. It's kind of normal. But with our personal computers and stuff for assignments, at least, people are getting really fed up with the district ones when they don't work. But teachers have also been very accommodating when that happens. I know my biology teacher, she has paper quizzes when we have online ones. So when it doesn't work, like people can do that. But I think people are definitely kind of frustrated with not being able to listen to music and then also not having their own personal devices. But I think phones is definitely the last thing on the list, yeah.
From what I've seen, I have seen that it's a hard transition. You know, it's something that we're used to. From what I've seen, I haven't really seen much of the laptops. I mean, people are getting annoyed with the school devices, but I think people tend to go to grab their phone and then they realize that, oh, they don't have it. Or when we have like 3 or 4 minutes at the end of class, they'll immediately go to grab their phone because that's what we're really used to. And it's been a little hard, and people are a little bit annoyed by the policy. I mean, it is state law, so it's something that we have to do. But I think people are starting to understand that it's state law and that this is kind of something that we're going to have to live with and we're going to have to work through, even if it is hard, you know? Yeah.
Any others?
I was going to ask a clarification on Infinite Campus. You're just getting your grades slower that way, right? You still have access to everything. It's just you're not able to get it like real time.
Yeah, no, it was like, yeah, I guess people were really used to, like, teachers would be like, oh, well, we just put in the grades, like, you can go ahead and check it, and then people would, like, pull out their phones, because on the laptops, you kind of have to sign in every single time, but with your phones, it's, like, it always stays logged in, so it's just, like, logistical, but, yeah, we can still see them.
And you also do get notifications on your phone. Like, that's a little harder to do on your laptop. Like, you get a notification, you're like, oh, my God, what did I get? You know, oh, she put it in, you know, or whatever it is. Yeah.
All right, well, again, thank you both very much. That was great. You know, I know we've discussed with you offline, too. We understand that you're very busy students, so you're more than welcome to stay for the whole meeting. You're more than welcome to excuse yourself at any time you need to. But thank you for your great first report. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Some dates to remember. Schools will be closed October 2nd for Yom Kippur. On October 9th, we have our board tour and visit at Thornell Road Elementary. October 13th, schools are closed for Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. And on October 14th is our next regularly scheduled board meeting. With that, we'll move over to the financial report.
Good evening. Only 4 items tonight for the financial report. A little reprieve from the other ones. We're going to start off with capital projects. If we recall back on last meeting, July 8th, we approved a resolution authorizing the superintendent to execute change orders in between meetings, and this is a resolution for your consideration for those change orders that were $35,000 and less that have happened since then.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the resolution approving capital construction project change orders?
So moved.
Sarah, Emily, any questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next, we have for your consideration the declaration of surplus vehicles that have used up their useful life and to be surplused and sold according to board policy.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the declaration of surplus vehicles and equipment? Thank you. Kim, Dave, any questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
The third item tonight on the financial report for your consideration is the resolution for the Regional Information Center to proceed with their contract for their legal processes for EdLaw 2D application contracts.
You may have a motion to approve a resolution for the Regional Information Center to approve EdLaw second application contracts. Thank you. Any
And
comment? Sorry.
And the fourth item is just, it's a bid award for, on the consent agenda.
Just a second, we've got to do the, we
Sorry.
haven't voted on it yet.
Thought you gave me the look.
Yep, no problem. You're being proactive, I love it. Any comments or discussions on the prior motion for the Regional Information Center contracts? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries, thank you. Okay,
Yeah, and like I said, the fourth item is a bid award for Monroe Tubosi's bus parts, and that's on your consent agenda.
great, thank you very much. Human Resources Report with Mr. Clark.
Thank you and good evening. First for your consideration is the professional staff report. Bear with me, it's a long list. I have 1 administrator appointment, 16 certificated staff appointments, 1 regular substitute to probationary appointment, 1 part-time to probationary appointment, 1 increase in FTE, 1 certification earned for a school nurse teacher, 3 occupational therapist appointments, 1 SRP correction of building, 6 SRP appointments. We have yearly building substitute appointments, 2 certificated staff resignations, 1 supervisory and technical resignation, 7 SRP resignations, 2 regular substitutes whose positions have ended, and then we have per diem substitute appointments for you as well.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of the professional staff report.
Second.
You, Renee and Sarah? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries, thank you.
Jeff, if I could just wave, if we could all wave to Marissa and congratulate Marissa on being named as our Jeff Road elementary principal. Congratulations. And her mentor, we have to say thank you to Liz Konar for being there. Liz's son, Adam. I mean, it's all connected.
Thank you. Next for your consideration is the support staff report. We have 7 clerical appointments, 1 clerical resignation, 9 transportation appointments, 1 transportation resignation, 1 custodial maintenance appointment, 1 custodial maintenance resignation, and 6 food service appointments.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the support staff report? Thank you, Robin. Kim? Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you.
And the student services report with Mrs. Kataya.
Good evening. The 25-26 district-wide EPG is on the consent agenda for second reading.
Thank you. And curriculum report with Ms. Clayton.
Good evening. In your packet, starting on page 219, is the, I put a few slides in there about our new curriculum and resource at elementary, K through 5. I'm not sure, am I able to move slides from here? Or? Thank you. Thank you. So the research that backs this program that we ultimately decided to adopt really is built on 4 foundational key pieces. Math should motivate students. A structured approach to problem-based learning is the best in terms of rigor. Student thinking is valuable and can be made evident, and every student should have access to grade level math every day. That's something that kind of surfaced when we did our math grouping ad hoc committee work, and we really dug into that research. So coming out of that work, we knew we wanted to find a program that would have entry and access points for all students, be able to extend and be rigorous and engaging for even our highest learners, but give opportunities for that rich mathematical discourse in the classroom, that inquiry, the building of prior knowledge, but also vertical alignment with vocabulary and having teachers have a common resource where they have rich professional development and support for that. The resources we had were quickly becoming out of alignment with the next gen standards, and there wasn't any professional development to support that. So our teachers have really been able to focus on how they're going to adjust their pedagogy now that they're not searching for resources. So we're going to have a lot more consistency and continuity. And the reason that I start with this slide with these 4 themes is it really is about developing students' math identity, their ability to struggle productively, and for all kids to believe that they're doers of mathematics. That's really heavily based in the research and the equity work around mathematics, particularly girls, and it starts as young as 1st grade. So we really want to empower our kids to be doers of math. So before I get into just these other slides quickly, I have some thank yous. So this summer, we delivered resources to 114 classrooms, 24 learning specialists, and 5 AIS providers. And they all received teacher manuals, student workbooks, manipulative kits, center kits, and a digital platform. It was such a huge, heavy lift. So I have a million thank yous. First and foremost to Liz Norton, the assistant in the curriculum office. She has been instrumental in communicating with BOCES, with our Amplify rep, with our standards leader, with buildings. She has been absolutely awesome. Our standards leader, Denise Zobo, for her work leading the pilot. The pilot, if you recall, was 28 classrooms and about 600 students. So we had really strong feedback from the pilot and support from our elementary academic council moving forward with this program. So there is a lot of buy-in and engagement around the program. Terry, thank you to you, Terry Hassler, for helping us to find the money to support the resource. Also our building principals, teachers, our head custodians, and our principals assistants. They have also been invaluable. And last but not least, our tech team for all of the rostering that had to occur. Along with Amplify comes a digital component called M-Class. That is where we will be doing for grades 2 through 5, our universal screening, our benchmark assessments, our progress monitoring. There will be some assessment and progress monitoring at K1, but we're still going to do Ames Web at K1 as well, because that's one-on-one interviewing the students versus the kids doing it on the computer. The other point to mention is, while there's a lot of digital content, only 10% of the content is digital for K1, about 20% digital for grades 2 through 5. And of all those digital components, there is also an option for paper. So we're not just putting our children in front of computers. There really is a lot of engagement and dialogue that happens throughout the program. So just quickly, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things for you, and I'm sure we'll be revisiting this lots as we move through the year. But every lesson has a proficiency progression. So it begins with activating the student's prior knowledge and curiosity. So really like that low-level entry point for every student. Then moves to the generation of new ideas through student collaboration, kids refining their thinking and their ideas through the facilitation tools. There's a lot of support for teachers in terms of how to prompt and support students. So what the program's done really well is it'll anticipate where students are going to have misconceptions, and it gives the teachers talking points. A student may say this. Here's an example of a prompt of a way to promote their metacognition and their thinking so they can reflect and self-correct versus us telling them the answer. That's where that productive struggle comes in. But every lesson has a component for math identity, math community, and there's those places that address the misconceptions and the language to support that. That guide to grade level understanding, so we're having all of our kids doing grade level work. Even if the readiness is not there, there's enough support and entry into these lessons that the students can be successful. And for our students that are really rich thinkers that are ready for extension, that's also, baked in through all the differentiation resources along with it. Time to practice, reinforce, remediate, and extend for understanding. For your viewing pleasure, when you're having your coffee in the morning, I just include for the problem-based learning, the launch, monitor, connect framework that's utilized in every lesson. And what I love too is every lesson includes like a warm up, 2 activities, a synthesis, and an opportunity to show what you know. But then after the lesson, for K1, there's opportunities for center and choice in centers, but there's also a support, strengthen, and stretch for all students following lessons as well. So it's just really fabulous. I can't say enough about it. The math identity piece, every unit is built around a story, and it always is a real world context and engaging for the kids. So all of the tasks and all of the work within the unit are all built around a story that the students are following, and the pilot teachers found that the kids are really engaged in the stories. And there are also a lot of rich instructional routines that the students internalize and get a lot of practice through that. Productive struggle, I just want to mention, when we had our Superintendent's Day last March, elementary spent a portion of that day, all of the paras and teachers around productive struggle. So what can we expect to see from our kids as they engage with this new resource? And what do we do when we see them, begin to stumble? How do we support them through that and not enable them? And what does destructive struggle look like? And how do you know when to step in? And that was really great that our paras were a part of that too, our encore teachers as well, because this is, ultimately what we want to see our children be able to do. Just so you can kind of get a really quick visual overview, the bulk of the resources around core instruction, but there's also a personalized learning component with M-Class, which is the students, if they do a benchmark assessment, it will actually give them a personalized learning path through M-Class. So during a win block, they could go in and do some personalized work that is targeted to exactly where there may be a skill deficit. Or an extension, and there's also embedded interventions in all the lessons, and very actively throughout all of this is screening and progress monitoring. So we'll be using a lot of data in math when we're making decisions about kids. And what I'm hoping is that we see really strong 5-go-6 transitions as our kids come out having this rich pedagogy and this challenging vocabulary and rigor and all of the problem-based learning. I have a sense that it will impact really positively what we see in middle school mathematics and carry all the way up. I included a slide about our multi-tiered system of support, which is something our ILC has been working on, but how do we use data to make decisions about students? How do we know what they have to learn, and when they don't get it, what are we doing to support them? When they already know it, what are we doing to extend them? And our year will be very much around looking at our multi-tiered system of support, everything from universal screening to progress monitoring to database decision-making to rich interventions. Obviously, I could spend the whole day with you. Sorry, I'll try to wrap it up. So for differentiation, I just put an example of a slide there so you could see how it prompts the teachers. Student may say this, you respond with this to provide support. I thought you'd enjoy seeing that. And then lastly, these are some of the differentiation resources that are built right into the program. So all the materials have been delivered, teachers have been trained. We had a lot of teachers trained in M-Class over the summer, and everybody's ready to go. So I'm really looking forward to giving you some updates, and excited to see what's to come, and maybe you can come visit some classrooms with me and do some math. Oh.
All right, that was great. Thank you.
Questions from anybody about the resource?
Probably too early to answer this question, but I was just wondering what the impact might be on the honors track for kids that are, I know that's kind of looked at early on, maybe 3rd into 4th grade, and then obviously 4th to 5th and so on, but does this have an impact on how teachers would evaluate students for that?
So it will be, we will have far more data points as we're making decisions as kids transition 5-go-6. Our groups will be heterogeneous, and with their homeroom teacher for math. We're not remixing for math because we don't need to, given the complexity and the all the value in this resource. It's one-stop shopping for anything we can imagine for any type of learner. So we're really excited about that because the research shows us over and over again, it lifts the rigor for all the students when you have those rich conversations and you have the varying abilities within one setting. And the teachers, most importantly, the teachers are prepared to support that work. We didn't want to go there until we had the resources to support it. I remember Emily saying, if the research is telling us this, why aren't we doing it yet? We wanted to make sure we had given teachers the tools to effectively do it before we, made that change. And I don't know what's to come 6, 7, 8. It'll only be great. I can tell you that.
Anything else? No? All right, thank you so much. That was great. All right, special education report.
Good evening. The Committee on Special Education recommendations are on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. There is not a need for an executive session this evening. Just want to welcome and thank our new student board members. They kind of took away a lot of my report today, which is fine. But I will just concur with them that Thornell Road is horrible right now. It's changed my whole route to school. Not the school, the construction. The school's great. I also want to thank the students for being very open about a huge change process with the cell phone, sharing both the pluses and the challenges. And I think it's remarkable. I actually had the opportunity to meet with a gentleman that's actually here in our stands today. Adam and I had an interview, and Adam asked me a question which was brilliant. He said, do you remember when you weren't allowed to smoke in restaurants? And then, or when you were allowed to smoke in restaurants, and then the law came out that you couldn't smoke in restaurants anymore. And I said, yes, I do remember that. And how shortly after that, people were able to see the benefits of not smoking in restaurants. That's our ultimate hope with cell phones, is that ultimately students and all of us will be able to see there's a lesson here if we can put down our cell phones during the day and not be as distracted. It will have benefits for us. So thank you for hanging in there. I will also share that the student population has been amazing. We've had a handful of violations. That's it. They were suspended immediately. Their phones were thrown away, and I'm kidding. So they were given warnings, and the students, we couldn't ask for anything more from them, and they've all been wonderful. Some of a real positive for the start of the year has been our K-5 universal meals, and I wanted to share some statistics with you. So last year on day one, we served 0 breakfasts. This year on day one, we served 643. Last year, we served 1,000. Is that a 6 or a 0? It's a 0. It's a 0. Just about 1,000 lunches. This year, almost 2,000 lunches. On day two, last year we served 7 breakfasts. This year we served 713 breakfasts. Last year on day 2, we served just over 1,000 lunches, and on day 2 this year we served 2,100 lunches. And I can't give enough props to everyone that makes this happen. So this impacts classroom teachers, their morning routines, their lunch routines, special area teachers, having to be flexible with students coming in a little bit late, eating with the grab and go, and then dealing with the waste. And then our food service folks have knocked it out of the park with the quality of food, the quantity of food, the preparation of the food, and preparing for this whole transition. I can't thank them enough. Our goal continues to be to smooth out the entire process and order what we need to order and hire who we need to hire and make this a K-12 initiative going into next school year. The other thing I would share, so I don't want to say this is a negative, but we have struggled with transportation relatively mightily at the start of this school year. We have had a little bit, while it's getting better, a little bit longer bus rides. Some of it is because of the construction, some of it's because of new drivers, some of it's because of new routes. But we do have a mechanism for families that want to challenge where their children are getting picked up, their bus stops. We encourage people to continue to communicate with transportation. We are prioritizing concerns and then remedying them to the extent we can in a timely manner. It was really a perfect storm this summer. Well, it actually started before the summer when our assistant superintendent for business was out on medical leave, who supervises transportation, and then our dispatcher, right in the middle of the summer, retired, and we didn't have ample notice, so it wasn't someone we could replace right away. And then we had our director of transportation on leave, and then we had our lead trainer for bus drivers retire without notification. So essentially, every person who has the knowledge with the software that we have was not there in August. And so the people that you're maybe working with when you're calling have picked up the pieces and have really worked around the clock to try to remedy some of the transportation issues. On day one, I got an email saying we're going home now. It was 8:30 p.m. So they're working really hard. We will get there. We just apologize. I apologize for some of the inconveniences, but they will get better for sure. And with that, I'll also just say, Sarah and I were able to walk the 9 schools and walk through food service and transportation. And it's a quick reminder of what a remarkable district we have. The amount of care and support was evident by watching the adults. Watching the peer-to-peer interaction was fantastic. Watching the little kindergartners come in the first day of school, so scary but exciting. We're in a real special place and really thank the professionals that are around our kids and the parents that have raised them. So great start to the year. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Steve? Kim? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Any old business? No? Any new business? No? Okay, with that, we'll move on to public comment. I'd like to welcome up Adam Chodak. If you'd like to come up to the podium, please.
Thank you, thank you. Where's the teleprompter? I don't know if I can do this without that. First of all, congratulations to Marissa. Jefferson Road got a gem, and the district was very wise in their choice. This is going to be a wonderful, wonderful advancement for Jefferson Road, which has known great principals like Jeff Clark. So, yeah, there we go. Also, thank you for what you do, for dedicating your time to the Pittsford Central School District. And I also, before I get going, I want to thank the coaches within the Pittsford baseball program. That program has been very good to me and my brother over the years. We were players in it at one time. I was better. And I have to say, I'm back in the program now as a parent, and that's been very wonderful. And the experience so far has allowed me to see some areas of improvement, some small possible areas of improvement, and that's what I want to relay to you as a board, because, and also administration, as you may have a hand in any changes that might be necessary. So first, I want to talk about how cuts were made. But by the way, I spoke with Patrick Irving over the last few months, and he's been wonderful. I really appreciate that correspondence with him. One issue was the way cuts were made. They brought all the kids in. These are 7th and 8th graders into the gym, lined them up, and then the coach called them in one by one and sent the kids back out into the gymnasium. And the kids, being kids, let them know, whether they made it or not. It turns out the kids who made it were being called in first. So the kids later in the line found out, they did the math, thank you very much for math, and they realized that they were not on the team, and they had to stand there for 15, 20 minutes holding in tears, knowing that they were going to get cut. So I spoke with Patrick about that, and he agreed that is not the protocol, and I believe he's spoken with the coaches since then to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. I just wanted to relay that. So again, I hope that does go through. Also, I was told that 8th graders were not given preference over 7th graders as a modified program. From what I understand, the mission of modified is to get the most number of kids to play. And if you cut 5 8th graders for 5 7th graders, those 7th graders will be able to play in 8th grade as well. Those 8th graders would not have a chance to play. So instead of 10 players getting a chance to play, you get 5. So I encourage the program to rethink that moving forward. Lastly, would love to see an A and B team for Calkins Road Middle School. You have a huge cohort of baseball players, and I think this speaks to the level of excellence that exists within the Pittsford town with the MCBR and Little League and all that. It's a wonderful program, and because of that, we have a lot of kids, and would have loved to see that last year, but that's water under the bridge right now. So just encouraging the district and the program to consider moving that to an A and B program for next year. I'm hearing whispers that that's happening, so nudging the district in that direction. And however I can help, please let me know. Happy to do whatever type of nudging outside of this room that needs to be done. With that, I want to promote the Rochester First streaming app that Superintendent Pirro will be on tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Go to your smart TV if you have Roku, Apple, Fire, and download that for free. And then you can watch all that good stuff. All right, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for listening. Go Bills, go Yankees, go Knights. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your comments, Adam. Thank you. All right, with that, I'll have a motion for an adjournment, please. Second. Thank you. All in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful evening.